Hello and welcome back to another KCC video. I'm Rob and today we'll be jumping into ProRevenge. Before we start, please hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you know when the next video goes live. Our first story today comes from Hassad802. Refuse to pay $60 to fix my roof? Okay, I'll close your building site down and cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Let's jump right in. Names, places, and timeframes have been changed as per rules. Characters in this story: my friend, who I will call Brian; bullying demolition man we will call Keith; greedy property developer we will call Karen; and the insurance assessor. This tale of nuclear revenge happened a while back and is a work in progress. It is too good not to tell, and I will try and keep you updated down the track. Brian's neighbor is a typically greedy career landlord that left their rental house in despair. The poor tenant was living in the cold house, raw sewage leaking onto the lawn, and holes in the house that you could see light coming out of the house. After multiple requests from Brian, Karen refused to get any repairs done. When the state government introduced new laws about ensuring landlords are insulating their rental properties, instead of doing this to the house, Karen kicked their tenant out and left the house vacant for 5 years. The old house deteriorated so much more during this time, with rats infesting the house and invading other houses nearby. Brian and his wife, with their limited funds, were able to get sufficient lending from the bank and offered to buy the house and do it up themselves to improve the neighborhood or rent it out, as there is a massive shortage of rental properties in our local county. Greedy Karen did not want to sell, nor did she want to spend a cent on the house to remedy the rodent problem. She also did not care about the effect the house was having on aesthetics of the street. It's important to know that Karen and her wealthy family have over 100 rental properties, and due to tax laws in this region, they do not pay a cent and can get tax write-offs when their properties deteriorate, then can claim on this as a loss. Long story short, some of them appear to be leeches on our society and are one of the reasons property prices are so high and rent prices are skyrocketing in our area. Her husband is also the chairman of the state's Landlord Association, an association that he often fronts the media for, defending landlords and putting a good media spin on them when there is negative press. Fast forward 5 years, and Brian finds out the house is going to be demolished to make way for some new houses to go in on the small section. That's good news at least, though Brian and his wife were anxious about how smoothly the demolition would go due to the fact the houses are quite close to each other. This is important for later. Prior to demolition, the company doing it had to get samples from all sides of the house to check for asbestos. Either Karen made it difficult for the company to get down the side bordering Brian's house, or they simply were too lazy, but only samples from 3 sides, not 4, were taken. Demolition day came around, and Brian was concerned that no safety barriers had been put up to protect his house from falling bricks of the chimney, nor was there anything from stopping dust and debris going all over his new deck and porch area. Later that day, Brian had the pleasure of meeting Keith. Keith is the demolition company manager that is well known around the district for only caring about money and has little regard for people or property. Keith was doing the demolition himself today, simply with a digger. Brian returned home during his break at work to check the progress of the demolition and found the demolition was already complete after only an hour or so. The demolished house was in a pile. He climbed up on his roof and, to his disbelief, found hundreds of bricks had fallen onto his roof, causing damage, though he was lucky none had fallen through into the house. Brian phoned up demolition man Keith to ask what went wrong. Keith initially played down the damage, despite there being 200 bricks laying on Brian's roof. Even with the damage done, no apology, and the rude attitude of Keith, Brian kept his cool. Since I did a little bit of roofing when I was younger, I can fix up the roof if you just get me 4 new sheets of roofing iron and we will call it even. Don't worry about paying for paint. I can sort that out when I paint the whole roof after the fall. Brian's roof was not in the best of shape, but it was in much worse shape after having bricks dumped on it leaving massive dents and chipping the paint. This is the moment that a simple decision on Keith's part would screw him and the landlord big time. Not happening, pal. Your roof is screwed anyway. I'll get you a sheet of second-hand roofing iron from my yard to repair the damage on roof, and I can come hose off the dust off your deck and dog kennel. Cue the nuclear revenge. The revenge was not intentionally nuclear, but Brian had a dilemma that his roof was damaged and he needed it repaired. There was rain and snow forecast later in the week, and he shouldn't be out of pocket having to buy new materials to fix his own roof up to a good standard. Brian is normally calm and relaxed man, but this situation and the way he and his property were treated sparked an anger that I have never seen before. Brian got in contact with his insurance company, and due to the issue involving a roof, a building assessor arrived that day to assess the claim. The assessor would then be able to seek damages from the landlord or demolition company if he found them to be at fault. Brian also reported the demolition company to the local health and safety authorities due to their lack of safety precautions used when doing the demolition. The assessor got onto the roof with Brian and was mortified to hear how Keith had acted in such disregard with the damage done to the roof and his lack of an apology for any wrongdoing. Got the assessor mad. He then looked more concerned and bent down and picked up some gray fibrous material. Luckily, thanks to COVID, we already have masks on, Brian. This here looks like it is asbestos. I don't know how they got the sign off to get this house knocked down in this manner. You don't know at the time of being exposed to this stuff, but if you breathe in these fibers, it can cause serious diseases later on in life, including lung cancer. I'll get this sent off to the lab for testing and we'll be in touch. Fast forward another day, and Brian was contacted by his insurance company. It turns out the side of the house that wasn't tested was clad in asbestos. Not just any bad asbestos, the worst possible type you can get. Insurance will be seeking damages to replace Brian's whole roof, not just the damaged part. The cost of replacement is likely to be around $20,000 US. This is the cheap part. The demolition site has been shut down by local authorities, and there needs to be a massive decontamination of the area. This involves having to remove at least half a meter of topsoil on surrounding properties, test the soil, and remove more if there is asbestos still found. Areas with decks need to potentially have these removed so soil can be evacuated out underneath. The cost for this cleanup will likely be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. But who will pay for this is unknown at this stage. Whether it is Keith or Karen's insurance or them personally, time will tell. In regards to Brian, his family and their dog potentially being exposed to the asbestos, that is another battle for them to fight, and I will keep you updated. Brief update number 1, I have just been on the phone to Brian for half an hour. His workplace was very sympathetic and paid for him to have 2 days off trying to sort things out. This is in complete contrast to Karen and Keith, who are yet to apologize and have made life difficult for Brian and his family. Due to the neighboring property being closed off for entry due to the health and safety investigation going on, it means Brian cannot even get scaffolding on his roof yet to fix the roof. Brian is worried now that the landlord is going to try to make his life hell. She is also a lawyer apparently. Karen was the person that offered the old roofing iron, apparently not Keith. She spoke to her husband, who said that because the bricks dented the roof, it means it must have been rusty and old, so doesn't need new iron put on. Keith did, however, go nuts at Brian for getting insurance involved, and also the Health and Safety Investigation Unit, who are currently doing the investigation. In regards to Brian and family still living in the house, according to the investigator, the risk is negligible, and the problems will arise when the debris is removed from the section. This will require a large tent, etc. However, the wind has been strong last few days, and I feel risk is still high living next door to uncovered broken asbestos cladding that is not being kept damp. Brian asked the investigation office person by phone about what to do about his dog and if they needed vet checkup, etc. They were 1 meter away from the fence, which is about a foot from the asbestos when it was broken up. They responded saying, Do you think your dog will live more than 20 years? If not, I probably wouldn't worry. Brian is also thinking the landlord is probably scheming revenge of her own. Brian paid for a new fence himself a few years back to border Karen's rental, as when he moved in, the old fence was half falling down. She refused to pay half despite this being law. He reckons because the fence is approximately 10 centimeters too high, she will ask him to cut the height down at his own cost, so it is in perfect position for her new houses that are to be built. Brian's plan is that he will put the nice expensive fence down entirely and put 600mm high chicken wire mesh up, as this is all that is required by law, and there is nothing she can do about it legally, as he paid for and built the fence. I will continue to keep you all updated. Also, as I know the local newspaper editor, I have offered to go with Brian to discuss this story with them once the investigation is completed if Karen tries to make life difficult, and also expose Keith for his dirty practices. Keith's company has just been awarded a multi-million-dollar contract for demolition of an old car factory, and this would raise some eyebrows. What a crappy contractor. The major problem with asbestos is that you're not going to see a problem with it until 20 to 50 years down the road, and that's when the issues really start. There's no cure for fibrous material in your lungs. I hope OP has a great talk with that newspaper editor, because this contractor needs to be brought down for their dirty practices. Our second story today comes to us from Metallic Can't Die 2. Neighbor likes to park in front of my house? Okay then, let's jump right in. This happened a few years ago. My neighbor started parking on the street behind my car, like literally inches, for no apparent reason. My neighbor has a driveway empty and also live 2 houses down the street. I don't have a driveway, so on-street parking is a must for me. So after a few weeks, I asked if it was necessary to park so close when there was literally no cars on the street for over a quarter mile. He said no, but there's no law against it, with a big shit-eating grin on his face. A few weeks pass by and my car gets hit because someone thought there was enough room to clear as his truck blocked the view of my car entirely. I see this happen, but unfortunately can't get a model or license plate number. I find my neighbor's email address because I really didn't feel like talking to him, and asked him again if he could just park further down the road closer to his house. He replied, "Nope, suck on it." Okay, I had lived here for quite a long time and never had any issues with him or any other neighbor. I keep to myself, never make noise, don't have any noisy pets or parties, etc. His truck has his business name on it. Google it, find out it's his own business. Lots of Yelp reviews, BBB rating, etc. All these links point to his website. I go to check his website, it doesn't load up. I head over to Whois and see that the domain isn't registered. I snag it. Before I think of what to do with it, I Google the owner's name and find out he's been convicted of murdering a child 20-ish years ago. I find a handful of links that details his story rather explicitly. I copy and paste all those links into an email to him, a throwaway account, so he can't just reply to me as I deleted it afterwards. Said something like, "Well, if you want to be a jerk for no reason, I just bought your business domain. Here's all the links I plan on posting on it. I don't have to list your business name because all of your business listings across the internet have this URL pointing to it. Keep parking like a jerk. Yes, it's legal, but you are willfully doing this just to annoy me. I legally bought your domain and can legally link these articles. Park behind me again and I'll launch it." Within an hour, his truck was moved into his driveway. He asked me for the domain and I told him, "When either you move or I move, I'll hand it over. Until then, it'll remain offline." Okay, this doesn't happen very often, but in the comments for this story, there's another story that I thought was pretty darn good. It says, "I never understood this phenomenon that causes people to play games with their cars. I moved out to the suburbs 3 years ago and have never seen it so prevalent when there's enough parking to accommodate 3 times as many cars. In the city, people would be crappy sometimes because there's never enough spaces for everyone and you gotta take yours. But literally everyone has a garage or driveway and enough curbside space for 3 or more cars out here. This could possibly be its own post, but in relation to your story, I'll type it here. A new neighbor moved in last winter, a house over from my connected neighbor, and we started to notice weird behavior. Nothing big, just dude liked to park in front of people's houses and then walk to his house real slow, or park directly on his lawn. I have a corner property and can easily park 8 cars around the perimeter of my yard. Since I have a garage, I couldn't care less who parks around my house. But if it sticks out and looks like the person is going out of their way to be ignorant, it irks me a bit. Like when new neighbor man started parking real close to the entrance to the communal lot where my garage is located. I didn't really even care about that until I saw him get out of his car, check to see if it was close enough to be a pain, then get back in and pull up closer. There's no reason to do that unless he wanted to purposefully be an idiot. I asked my connected neighbor what his deal was, and he had issues with him too, saying the guy was driving into our communal lot and over his grass to park in the backyard. I guess when he asked the butthole not to do that, the guy got real angry that he couldn't reach his yard any other way. My neighbor told him just to reseed the grass he screwed up and there wouldn't be problems, but the butthole refused. A few weeks later, I see the guy backing an old crappy collapsible trailer camper into our lot and across my neighbor's backyard. My neighbor was on vacation, so I called him and told him what was going on, and he got super angry, thanks me for the call and said, "I'll fix this." After the camper was parked in the guy's yard, I started seeing construction in my neighbor's yard a day or two later. I guess he had decided to build a fence around his property, preventing the guy from driving over his grass and also making the guy's crappy camper a permanent yard ornament because there was no longer vehicle access to his yard. I've yet to see the guy taking his camper apart piece by piece to remove it, but unless he pays to have my neighbor's fence removed and rebuilt, that's the only way it's gonna be moved. I mean no offense to the original OP, but sometimes the stories in the comments are better than the original stories themselves. Don't get me wrong, they were both pretty good, but having a camper stuck in your backyard, unless you pay to remove your neighbor's fence, that's just epic. Thank you to both OPs for posting in the ProRevenge subreddit. They are linked down below. Please go check them out. Check out one of these other videos, and if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button for more daily Reddit stories.